SME Corp is actually an agency under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry. What's our core business? In actual fact, what we do is we oversee the development of SMEs here in Malaysia, looking into not only their capacity building needs, but also in terms of their financial needs. And here also we provide a policy role in that we make sure that our SMEs are able to survive within an ecosystem that is conducive for SMEs. In SME Corp, we use the national standard definition of SMEs, and we divide them into two categories. The first category is for the manufacturing sector, and for the manufacturing sector we define SMEs as those companies with sales turnover of not more than 50 million ringgit, or they have got full-time employees of not more than 200. For the services sector, we defined our SMEs as those companies with sales turnover of not more than 20 million ringgit, or they have got full-time employees of not more than 75 workers. Now, these two definitions helps us to plan and to create policies for SMEs in the country. Now, what's important is really how does we categorize in looking into those subsectors. For SME Corp, our business is to make sure that all economic sectors of SMEs can survive and they are all into business. Only two categories that we do not oversee or look into, and that is finance as well as insurance. All other economic sectors are under the purview of SME Corp Malaysia, as well as also all the different ministries and agencies in Malaysia. In this new economic world, to do a business is sometimes not just a choice, but a preferred choice. And I'm saying that because today, getting a job is not as easy as it was before, right? So we even acculturate students right from schools into their high schools or into secondary schools as well as universities for them to understand the need to go and to move into entrepreneurship. And this kind of training into entrepreneurship, as I said, acculturation of entrepreneurship begins in the education system. And therefore really today, graduates, students all have got a different way or options for them to choose in terms of their career. They can graduate as an engineer, they can graduate as a doctor, but ultimately it is their choice whether they want to seek employment or whether they want to create jobs for others. And today, it is more even important for them to assume the role of creating jobs rather than to seek jobs. Now, the attributes of entrepreneurs and the attributes of SMEs to be successful is really very much dependent on the leadership of the entrepreneurs. And to be able to become successful entrepreneurs, they must be an individual with a lot of passion, with a lot of determination, with a lot of tenacity to survive, and most importantly, they must have the mind of a strategist. Why I say the mind of a strategist? Because they have got to strategize their business through a business plan. They must have a business plan before they even decide to do a business, because you cannot just go into a business for the sake that you like a certain recipe and you want everybody else to taste your recipe. But the fact that you have a business in mind because the market needs your business, and having a mind of the strategist will be able to pursue their dreams to become a successful entrepreneurs. I think what is important for us to recognize in assisting the SMEs, it is not just SME Corp that provides incentives as well as loans and grants, and also other financial incentives. We have to remember that there are also another 18 ministries and there are 65 agencies, not to mention the many financial institutions that provide financial incentives as well as also tax incentives for SMEs. I just want to bring you to two important books that we have. The first book is about the financing scheme for SMEs here in Malaysia. And if you were to open this book and you get into the text of it, there are 94 different types of loans that are available for the SMEs, not just provided by the banks, but also provided by the various ministries as well as also agencies. In addition to the 94 types of loans, there are 8 types of grant schemes, 8 types of venture capital schemes, as well as also you can see also in this book that we have also a different kind of guarantee schemes, which is more than 14 types of guarantee schemes that are given by the government. So in terms of financial incentives, there are a lot that are being provided by the various agencies, the various ministries, as well as the banking sector. I would like to urge everyone to have a look at this book, Financing Scheme for SMEs in Malaysia, or if you don't have a book like this, you can just log on and open an app, which is SME Corp app. And from that app, you actually can find all information about 94 loan schemes, 8 grant schemes, 8 venture capital schemes, as well as 14 guarantee schemes. In addition to that, I also want to share that when you talk about incentives, there is fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. And here I mean also tax incentives. And there are various tax incentives that we have already in place, put in for the SMEs in order to create what you call a conducive business environment for our SMEs. Now, this information about tax incentives for SMEs is also available under the SME Corp app. So please do download those apps, because in that app, you will find different types of incentives like pioneer status for SMEs. For example, investment tax allowance and accelerated capital allowance, etc. We also have in this book incentives for the manufacturing sector and also incentives for the services sector. There are a whole host of incentives, more than 12 types of incentives, tax incentives in this case, that a lot of SMEs can enjoy in doing their business. And they know all the different types of financing schemes for SMEs in Malaysia. I would say they are ready to do their business.